What's up, ladies and gentlemen? chuckfinleLP Sonic Adventure 2, Part 15. Alright, so this one is similar to the Shadow and Sonic fight, but it is a lot harder because it never touches the ground, and you have to glide into its cockpit to be able to hurt it, since you don't have the homing attack like Sonic and Shadow does. All you can do is either glide into it or drill dive into it, is what it's called. Come on. And let's see. I believe it's called the drill dive. Yeah, drill drive, excuse me. So this one, just like Shadows, will lock onto you with that homing beam. And it'll do it after the first 2 hits. It'll continuously do it. It'll stop with the machine gun. And once it sits still, it makes it a lot easier to hit. You can just get in above it and then destroy it like that. And once you get it to sit still, it makes it a lot easier. But getting it to sit still and getting up to that point is very difficult and a lot harder to do.
This is Rouge. I've got a small problem. I can't believe that I'm trapped inside this locked safe with a Chaos Emerald. I guess I won't be able to call myself a treasure hunter anymore.
And so Shadow views Rouge as his friend, and so because he wasn't able to save her, he feels he should save Rouge, and so that's what we're going to do. This is just like Green Forest with Sonic, except we have 10 minutes instead of 8. But this one has a lot more robots and is a lot more has a lot more gimmicks in it, such as these plants that will send you up in the air, and a lot more air time. But it doesn't have that area at the end that will catch you off guard once you get to it. You know, where the ground will give way underneath you. And I'm pretty sure this is also where we get the light speed dash with Shadow. I may be wrong, but I'm almost certain that this is the area. And as you can see, there are different locations where you can gain score at, just by doing different things at different speeds without slowing down too much. And let's see. Yeah, so this one is definitely a lot more difficult than Green Forest, just with enemy placement. These somersaulting areas. Come on. And yeah, that's pretty much how it's more difficult. Just the enemy, just the higher amount of enemies than in Green Forest. But this is before the Sonic fight, obviously, since we haven't fought Sonic yet for the first time. And so Sonic has 5 minutes to make it to the end, whereas before the bomb blows up, and Shadow has air shoes to move at light speed along paths of rings. And so this is just like the light speed shoes for Shadow. This is one of those story-related items that we won't be able to finish the level without, so, you know, we will all automatically find them. And it does help out, you know, especially for the last fight, against Sonic. It'll help there, and just some later levels And it was big on that tree if you didn't notice. He's kind of hard to spot, especially as fast as you were going. For those robots with the spikes on their head, the only way to destroy them is by somersaulting into them. Of course, if you homing attack them, you'll go right for the spikes and they'll hurt. Now for this section, don't touch the control stick except for at the end there, just to kind of propel yourself forward unless you want to fight the robots. Then hold back so you'll slow down, and you'll be able to go after all the robots.
Ultimate victory.
And as I said before, with Sonic and Shadows, it's more along speed and just score you can gain from doing tricks and robots that you don't go out of your way to kill. If you went after all of those robots, it might have actually hurt your time and maybe not allowed you to get an A rank. Instead of, saving you, though, that 10 to 15 seconds it would have taken to destroy all of those robots. Not to mention, if you had lost your rings, that would have hurt, There's just different factors that could have played into you messing up your score by attacking those robots. But as you can see, the chow that I would give all my flying and swimming chaos drives and animals to is the sleep, and just so I don't waste them. And for speed, I'll just go ahead and give all of it to this chow, to my running and power chow. Even of course I'd give him the running and the power, but it's usually best if you're trying to go after one chow or the other to get every chow to run and swim, and then you won't have to worry about it past that. You can level it up on your own time and just give it whatever you want to, especially to level it up. But I'll talk more about that on my chow special. But anyway, so the White Jungle is actually another fun level, kind of like Radical Highway. Alright, so this fight is exactly like the first fight. If you can pin Sonic into a corner, you can keep somersaulting into him. Just make sure you jump once you get past him so he doesn't try to go around and use the homing attack on you. And that's it. That this boss fight for both Sonic and Shadow is very easy, but you have to make sure you pin them into a corner and blow them up.
Shadow, what are you doing? Hurry and get back here right now before the island blows up with you on it.
Kind of makes you wonder how in the world did Sonic make it through and get off the island in 8 minutes. And it would seem that Shadow doesn't have to use, as long as he's in the vicinity of this, mess that word up. As long as he's near a Chaos Emerald, he can use Chaos Control. And those colored emeralds were the red, light blue, and purple.
What do you think it's like on Earth?
The professor said his life's work was dedicated to all of those who live down there. He once told that the reason for his existence was making people happy through the power of science.
Shadow.
Maria, I just don't know anything anymore. I often wonder why I was created, what my purpose is for being here. Maybe if I go down there, I will find the answers.
notice all the text behind Robot is a lot of self-flattery. It says, I am smart, wise, brilliant, a genius. Smart, wise, brilliant, genius. I believe that's all it says, and the yellow text underneath the TVs it first says Eggman threatens Earth, but then it'll start saying the I am wise, smart, brilliant, all that. It's kind of hard to see if you're not looking for it, and it does roll by pretty fast, so that also makes it a little bit more difficult to see. Robotnik is great, Robotnik is wise, you know. A lot of self-flattery on it.
Why are you so upset? Well, that was really impressive. You managed to create complete havoc on the whole planet. Does this now mean we control the planet and can do as we choose?
At this rate, the cannon will take too much time to charge up. If you want to unleash its full potential, you'll need all 7 Chaos Emeralds. Where in the world have you been?
Did something happen?
Our threats fell on deaf ears.
Look at you, throwing a tantrum like a little kid. How totally embarrassing.
Don't forget your end of the bargain, fat girl. What about that Chaos Emerald? We had a deal, right? But where is my emerald?
Here you go. I found this.
Why didn't you show me this before? Station Square saved a life-threatening missile attack. The city has awarded its famed prize to the boy who saved Station Square. Miles Tails per hour was given the Chaos Emerald as a testament of his heroic deed at a ceremony held at City Hall. This makes things a whole lot easier. Hurry, go back to work and find them fast. I want that Chaos Emerald.
Did you get that?
Soon enough. Hurry up.
This is Rouge reporting. Currently, I have not been able to confirm if Shadow is the ultimate life form or not. I will continue my research on Project Shadow and have a follow-up report very shortly. Just a reminder, don't forget about Julius.
But it would seem that somehow Station Square got their hands on an emerald, even though they were supposedly all supposed to be in chaos at this time. And none of them was ever stolen from Station Square. But anyway, so this is kind of like, or not kind of, this is exactly like Tails' version of this, except it's got a lot more tight turns where you need to break loose and try to get around the corners a lot more, and it'll have a lot more holes in it, a lot more, as I said, a lot more tighter turns, a lot more traffic than in Tails' version. Didn't want to do that, and it really isn't that useful to jump onto the ramp. I mean, there's nothing wrong with it, but there really is no point in it either. And you want to save the boost like I'm not doing for the for straightaways like this. And if you do fall down one of the holes, or holes in the barrier, which there is, you will have to restart the entire level over again. Come on, stay off the wall. And so, you know, it's not like per checkpoint like you might think it would be. You have to start the entire level over again. This one isn't nearly as fun as Tails's, so you want to be very careful not to have to restart this. Now you can cut off a lot of these harder corners if you jump up a ramp or a hill with the boost and you go up high enough into the air. You can cut off. You can actually jump across the barrier, up over the barrier, and gain a lot of time like that. Especially if you're trying to do maybe race. You know, beat this level within so long, within an amount of time. I guess a time trial mission. if you're doing that, that'll also help you out a lot. Or one of the other ones, like staying off the wall, which of course I'm not doing, and I would fail miserably. This one is a pain in the ass to do. It does require you to almost constantly stay like this, where you're almost about ready to spin out, instead of where the turning's a lot tighter, instead of like this. And you wouldn't think this is, especially as freely as it looks like I'm moving, this wouldn't be too bad, but it is, trust me, especially on some of those tighter corners like this. You have to break loose, and you can't actually jump over these barriers, so you want to be very careful while doing that. And try to staying off the wall and stuff, that doesn't really hurt you, unless it may slow down your score a little bit too much than what you want. But either way, this is the end. As you can see, time isn't that great, especially bouncing off the wall. Wouldn't be surprised if I got a C, because that's what I usually get. Well, you know, whatever works. Yeah, I'm happy with an A. I mean, I ain't complaining at all. See, Minikart Racing 2-player versus is now available. That's just one of the, during the 2-player mode, you can go after that, or you can play that.
Shadow, they're in that blue plane. Started at 11 o'clock.
So this is Pumpkin Hill, that region in daytime. And this one is also another fun one for Shadow, except it is a pain in the ass to do. And as fun as it is, I've grown to dislike it after all of the times I've had to try it and retry it to get the A ranks for it. And I do not suggest. Okay, well, this is the Ancient light speed attack to defeat multiple enemies at light speed. This is Sonic. This is one of those moves that Sonic doesn't get. Come on. And it would seem it is immune to the electric shields on those robots. So if you do, instead of waiting for a robot to make its shield go away, and especially if it's like a longer line of robots, you can easily go through there. But this is a move that Sonic doesn't get, sadly. But it is a nice throwback to Sonic Adventure, because if you remember in Sonic Adventure, Sonic got a move just like this, except it didn't protect him from the the electric shields that the robots could use. Now that Chow Box isn't worth getting at all. You know, it is a very dangerous thing to go after, and flying around on these rails really isn't that useful either, especially going after some of these robots, you know, and these item boxes. It's just easiest and safest and the best way to go after the A rank if you can just stay on the rail and get to it as quickly as you can. Of course, watch out for those fire skulls. Those will jump out and get you before you even realize you've been hit by them. But yeah, this one isn't too difficult, especially the, like the rails and stuff. It isn't as difficult as the last two levels for Sonic and Shadow. You know, flying off the rails, and it isn't as easy to fly off the rails like it is with like on those two levels. Now this is one of the few instances where speed actually didn't help me. If I would have gone after a few more of those robots and a few more of those item boxes, I probably would have gotten the A rank. And going after the Ancient Light might have also helped my score a little bit. If I could have kept it under 2 minutes, that might have jumped up just enough where I could have gotten it. But, you know, either way, I thank you for watching. The challenge of the video is, let's see. Well, I'll come up with something. It'll be in the description of this video. So, Again, the challenge of the video will be in the description of this video. Thank you for watching. Until next time.